while to respond. There we go. So, we're going to start this off to the bottom left-hand side with our red Protoss player. Give it up if you're cheering on Neeb. As in the upper right, our blue Zerg is Cham. Cham taking down Marine Lord in a 5-game series. It's just a couple series ago. Feels like a while because we've had, again, a lot of longer matches taking place today. So this is the second half of the round of 24 now taking place. So winners here advance to play a round of 16. The winner of this series plays Petit Drogo in the round of 16. Obviously, some of that round of 16 matches getting established now. So Hero Marines versus Sort of, Mana versus Special, Raynor versus Nurture are the 3 out of 8 decided matches in the round of 16. Other 5 matches will be determined at the end of this round of play. So in the next hour or so, we should have some more answers as to what exactly the round of 16 is going to look like. Excuse me. So hopefully that sounds like a lot of fun to you guys. Sounds like a lot of fun to me. So I'm going to get this set up and ready to roll in this PvZ and see what's going to happen. Obviously, after this, we start watching round of 16 matches. And once we get into that round of 16, we'll do 4 round of 16s today. The other 4 will be on mainstream, and that'll be my coverage for WCS Summer done. So, yeah, it's a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. You always find it crazy when you realize that you're already coming to the end of a day. You're like, what? How? How does this happen? Bonkers. Alright, well, Probe heading down to the bottom left-hand side is heading back home. Neeb just going to open with the Stargate. Now, Neeb lost 0-2 to TLO yesterday. I don't know how those games went at all. But TLO picking up that win is obviously got to put a bit of a shake on Neeb's PvZ here. So, especially someone like Cham, who does like to play a bit aggressively now and again. I do look at this series and wonder what Neeb's going to pull out to try and maybe make something work here. Like, especially if Cham starts to get aggressive, and maybe I would imagine that was Neeb's weakness yesterday against TLO. Gonna be very interesting. Oracle startup though. We casted 1 PvZ earlier today. Awesome Lambo. Awesome stomped Lambo. Awesome didn't go into Stargate at all in his series. He's much more Twilight early focused and came up with a couple of cute different builds off of that Twilight Council to take him into good positions and to get into later stages in a strong spot. Stalker dealing some damage to the Overlord, and we do see again these few Zerglings just getting pushed away over that right-hand side. So just Slingers being kept at bay, and the Stalker will be able to kill off this Overlord in the next couple of moments. So Overlord will die. Nice little pick-off there from Neeb, of course, a very expected pick-off though. As you're actually going to see, nice catch from Cham. Going to be able to get that Stalker, so Neeb losing out on a unit that usually would have been kept alive. So extra gateways do finish up. We've only seen the 2 Oracles. There is the Robo facility now coming down to show us the future of this tech choice. By building the Stalker, he doesn't build the Phoenix, and that actually usually does mean we'll see a 3rd Oracle as well off of this, and there it is. Getting started up. Losing the Stalker is a bit of a shame, because now you have to warp in 1 more to push this Overlord away. Obviously, usually you don't really want to warp in too many Stalkers, because Stalkers aren't really the best unit in PvZ. You know, you kind of want those gateway warp-ins to be, anything but Stalkers, basically. I mean, Stalkers are sometimes useful in some of the very early aggressive attacks. But outside of that, you don't often play, like, Blink Stalkers even in PvZ unless you're going up against Mutas. So it's really, like, Zealots, Adepts. At this stage, like, Adepts or Sentries are nice to be made, but obviously mid-game Zealots become very powerful as well. Oracle into the main is going to have a quick little scout in here. 2nd Oracle coming up as well. I'm just going to be using a Stasis Ward coming into this top side. Going to catch a single drone and 1 on the bottom as well. Going to catch 2. Oh, actually, catches the 2 that just spawned. That's unlucky for Cham. You can't really control when they just pop out of the eggs, right? So that is unfortunate. It's 5 drones scored for 2 Stasis Wards. So Neeb just slowing down that economy here a little bit in these early stages. Oh no, this Stasis didn't even realize this one. That one's huge. Cham losing so much of his economy for a while there. And those drones need to get back to mining. Get back on it. Oracle's chase the queen down up on this top side. Oh my god, Cham is still not mining with this. He will lose an Oracle though, so a little bit messy for him as he does get a couple of drone kills. Finally, Cham has fixed that mining though. Well, I mean, obviously, losing a lot of mining time like that gives Neeb a great opportunity to build up a larger army. And that does make him potentially very dangerous here as he potentially moves across the map. But Neeb's kind of doing what Neeb does best, which is also just playing the longer game. Temple Archives, charge +1. Actually, I guess you kind of need charge +1 before you attack. It still could be a very strong push from Neeb. That could really abuse the fact that Cham has been obviously a little bit lackluster here in his early defense of those stasis wards. Let me grab a quick drink, guys. Sorry. I was a little bit rushed during that break to get food sorted out. Alright, so double High Templar going to warp in on this third base. Archon production could begin, but he's actually going into Storm as well, so this is actually really crazy. Look at this push from Neeb, like 2 Immortals, no Warp Prism, no Sentries. I'm just going to show up here and he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to deal some damage. Forces the Ravages to be made already. That's crazy. What a brave push by Neeb. Like, he has no force fields to block units off if they run at him. I mean, a recall, you're probably losing the Immortals at the very least. That's actually insane. That's actually insane. Another stasis here, catches just a couple drones. Just persistently being so annoying with those oracles. This one on the right side, and then this one in the center as well, just looking for the revelation all the time, trying to keep track of that army of his opponent. Cham is going into Swarm Host, so we see 6, 7 Swarm Hosts on the way up. That's going to be Neeb's next real challenge, but honestly, with the amount of storms that Neeb has, he's going to be able to get rid of Locust Waves very easily. And all it takes is to completely crush one Locust Wave and then counterattack. And then a Locust Wave and an army. But obviously with Storms, that Locust Wave doesn't add too much. So I really love Neeb's position here. I feel like he's put himself in a very strong spot. And I actually wouldn't be surprised to see him pushing with the High Templars with Storm. Although I also feel like we're missing kind of the, you know, where's the Warp Prism, right? I mean, just feels like there should be one of those on the map at least. So he's just still pumping out Immortals just off of this one Robo. And no Warp Prism at all is also just in itself kind of crazy as Neeb, his 4th base, comes up on this top left-hand side. Marco flies around, sees the Swarmers. Even the Queen's coming very far forwards here. I know, I mean, they're not too far off creep, but it looks like they're going to keep moving off creep. First Storm, by the way, catches those Roaches and Ravages as they're just moving up this alleyway. It's already kind of painful. Another one as well, just help ward them back. The Swarm Hosts haven't even fired their first wave of Locusts yet. They're a little bit too afraid. Here we go, Locust's going to start moving in then. Neeb is, I mean, he'll see this in a sec, so let's see how he responds. I mean, again, Storms on top of them work well. He might just keep running away from this, because honestly, those Locusts are not really headed towards anything dangerous. And they drop down, they get a Probe, and not even the Adept in the wall. I mean, that's nothing for those Locusts, and so Neeb didn't even have to waste Storms on them. Now he's already able to start chasing down this army, because obviously the Locusts are on cooldown. That's a huge amount of the supply and investment that Cham has made recently. Cham feels like he's already heading into a little bit of trouble. More corrosive bowels. Actually, that Archon takes quite a bit of damage. Neeb tries to pull it a bit further back in the army. Unfortunately, it seems pretty determined to get pushed forwards here by the rest of these units. Well, there comes the Locust off cooldown now. They're going to start dropping in this time. A lot of Storms to try and push the Ravagers away on the top. And as the Locust do get down on the ground, he'll drop a couple more Storms. He's out of energy on the High Templar, so now perhaps time to take a breather and to deal with that as we see, oh my god, the Zealots are just picking off Ravagers as they morph in. It's actually pretty disgusting. They did a lot there, those Zealots. And Neeb just pulls back, waits for his High Templars to get energy once more. Might make this next defense against the Locust a bit tough because, I mean, when we talk about energy, he just doesn't have that much of it at the moment. He will in a few seconds have a couple Storms. Do you feel like he needs those Storms to be able to clean the Locusts up? As here we go, popping into the skies. Neeb is, well, he's going to see where the Locusts go down. There is the Storm. Now the Ravagers starting to arrive, but it was kind of a little bit late on the Ravagers, right? I mean, the Locusts were already being stormed to death by the time they arrived. One of the only reasons Neeb is not doing so great when it comes to supplies is because he's teching up insanely highly. Going straight up into 2 carriers here. I mean, That is actually pretty crazy as we see the stasis ward coming in. A couple of drones on the Queen getting caught there in that stasis. A storm on those Ravages. Another nice set of damage being dealt. Those going to pop up once more, head towards this army. More Corrosive Bowels actually going to find themselves a couple of the Archons here. Oh, Neeb's actually tucked into a corner. That's not so pretty. Absolutely needs to get rid of these Locusts, which he will do. The Corrosive Bowels don't get many kills. The flanking Zealots, I think, just from this high ground, killing the Queens off. Wow. Suddenly, Cham's supply drops quite heavily. Down to 155. He has money in the bank, and he will morph in Broodlords, but Broods are not exactly a major issue when Neeb has carriers on the map. He hasn't answered to those Broods, so he might not be able to do anything with this initial push here, but absolutely can do something with these carriers in the back. Well, Neeb playing a pretty fantastic game here so far. It's been a treat to watch because his constant defense is just so on point every single time. Making sure to never let too much damage being done. A couple of storms coming down, obviously needs those to just keep cleaning up these waves of low health units. Now some of these Ravagers kind of out in the middle of nowhere and they go down pretty swiftly. Locust on cooldown, and with the carriers here, again, you haven't answered to the Broodlords, so you can actually take a pretty decent fight, actually. You have the Storms available too, the Archons can help a lot. First Storm drops, we'll see the Broods and see what Neeb wants to do. He sends his Immortals forwards, he will kill the hatchery here. And he actually turns to try and get a Storm Host too, but the Broodlings are seemingly enough to turn those Immortals away, stop them from getting properly in range of these Storm Hosts. I see a Storm on top of the Swarm Host, going to hit the Locust as they jump up into the skies. Neeb having to pull back, but only until he gets himself towards even more of his carriers here, and well, he has to lose one of the carriers. His carriers have actually kind of been left behind in the middle. They're not doing a great job of actually killing these Corruptors, so carriers struggling a little bit. He really has just left these over here. In the meantime, though, Cham is losing so much economy. Zealots all over the map in the natural expansion. Not in the first, so actually just in the natural, but Cham is down to 35 workers, so not a lot of army remaining here from Cham as again, these Broodlords are slowly tying to the single carrier that currently remains. These Zealots do so much damage, of course. I mean, Cham also got thrown down to just the 3 bases as, well, here we go. I mean, pressing forwards. Archon and the carriers looking to defend against the Broodlords and the Corruptors. Some Stalkers show up as well. That's just going to go diving straight after the Broodlords. Get rid of those and get rid of the problem that is the Broodlings here on the map. Some Locusts going to come in, but actually just dropping on very far forward Stalkers. Cham knows there's just no recovering from this. Neeb's army was just a bit too good. His aggression did a lot. The Zealots across the map. Right. Our red Protoss, this is Neeb. Up against the blue Zerg play on the top left-hand side, we have Cham. I feel like Cham needs to try something a bit different because I look at that first game and all I see is Neeb having the time of his life. Like, there was a couple times when he kind of got cornered in and I was like, well, you know, maybe. But no. And at the end of the day, it's like, no. Neeb just defends too well. His counterattacks is just a bit too good. He moves out at the right time. He pulls back at the right time. The only thing I think it was really like a huge mistake there from Neeb was when those kind of carriers were left behind fighting the Corruptors. And even then, I'm not sure how much of a mistake that was, because actually they ended up cleaning up the Corruptors, and the Broodlords were left on their own for the follow-up. So, truly a very solid first game from Neeb. And I go into Acropolis. I would imagine that the first map near Repugnancy was probably Neeb's map pick, and Acropolis here being Cham's map pick. It's a very large map. We're seeing it picked a lot today because, again, there's no vetoes before the first 2 map picks. It goes pick A, pick B, ban, pick. So you actually get to pick maps before any vetoes come down, which is why Acropolis is kind of coming in every single series for the Zergs, because that is kind of the go-to veto for players when they play against Zerg, because it is just kind of good. Now, we just seen a couple of best of threes yesterday, don't get me wrong. It was definitely able to sneak its way in there, and some weirder series. Again, it's just definitely not something you kind of expect to come through when you see a Zerg in play, because again, it's just so good for the vetoes to, it's just so good to map to veto compared to the others. Probe being chased down by a couple of the Lings. Ling speed on the way up from Cham in the main, and we do see the Stargate on the bottom right-hand side. Third hatchery starting up from Cham as well. And we do see the probe just going to wander over, back home, and get going as the Stargate starts up here from Neeb as well in the main base, so getting that up and rolling. And again, just going to have this Adept continue to shade up to the top left-hand side. It's been about 75% of the way they've done at the moment. There's Neeb going to shade his way towards the main base here, going to be moving up. And while those few Lings are keeping track of it, I don't think this Adept should die. It should be able to trade with the Lings and shade out without dying off. Lings will try and chase it down into the middle of the map, but the Adept is just that little bit too fast once you get off creep. Good setup here from Neeb. Now Cham throws down the lair pretty much as this Adept is confirmed to leave. That almost feels like Cham wants to go all in, right? I mean, it's like, what a time it is. The Adept just leaves and you're like, aha, time for me to start, press this button. So now on the way up, I see the Twilight Council is going to drop from Neeb here in the main base, so a little bit of a different follow-up this time around from the Stargate, which is once again going to be an Oracle first open. An Oracle opening, but he's actually got into a Phoenix this time, so I was wrong. It's actually a bit different. So the Phoenix into an Oracle means he's also not built a store for early in this game. With 6 Adepts, actually Neeb looking to apply some pressure here. Now that Lair's about to finish, Rotoran drops down from Cham, but Rotoran is yet to actually be brought into use, so the Adepts can still deal damage. Very interested to see what comes out the Lair, because Cham does have quite a bit of gas currently banked up. Adepts start coming through, but they will not commit to the shade. In the end, looks like Neeb is just looking to force units as we see the single stasis ward and a couple of drones in the main, so nicely dealt with here this time by Cham. The Phoenix wasn't here to help that Oracle out by lifting up the Queen or anything, and Neeb's going to go into Resonating Glaives as the follow-up. But this is not something that's going to help him against this Nidus. Now, does Neeb have any information on the Nidus? He knows the Lair is up and running. Yeah, he does not see that Nidus network in the back of the Natural, so maybe if the Oracle can keep scouting, he's going to stasis ward again, though. Stasis ward doesn't exactly, change much in terms of the scouting. It just means there's no revelation. Where do you Nidus then as Cham? Because there is an Overlord still on the bottom side of the map. You could just Nidus out the front. Because again, the Resonating Glaive Adepts are not going to do amazingly against those roaches. Adepts to the third base now, if they can shade towards the Natural. If they shade in here and see the Nidus, that's obviously an amazing scout for Neeb. And he's going to go towards the ramp. He's going to cancel the shade. Oh man. I mean, he doesn't have Resonating Glaives yet, so he doesn't want to go overboard on the commitment before he even gets the upgrade. That's very painful for him. The Nidus comes in, but it's going to be built right next to a pylon. Adepts on the Natural are going to start running in towards the main. Some other Adepts going to be recalled. Neeb starts up 3 shield batteries here. Warps in some Stalkers. I just don't think he killed them. There's no way he kills this in time. Transfusions will start to come down. Lifts up one of the Queens that pops out. He will get the Nidus kill now. So Nidus goes down. There's only so many roaches that popped out of this here, and well, the Adepts will have to pull back a little bit. So Slunton's down to get the rest of the army out on the second Nidus. That does help because now there's going to be shield batteries at least finishing up. First Immortal starts to come out here from the Robo facility, so getting that started as well. Shield battery's doing a good job healing up at the moment. The Phoenix in the front probably going to go down if it's not careful. It will kill the Overlord though. Again, that Immortal's going to be absolutely critical at this stage. Immortal can do so much to come through and to pick up so many. I mean, so many of these roaches would just be one-shottable for the Immortal at the moment, so here it is. The Immortal comes in, and that's going to be, again, a big difference when it comes to cleaning up roaches. I feel like that Nidus now, it's maybe even worth right-clicking on the Nidus, get rid of it before units jump back in. And Sam isn't even going to recruit with this unit. I wonder if he's just going to type GG. He is just going to type GG, as Neeb takes a pretty third. Potential for things to take a little bit longer here now, perhaps. Meanwhile, on the mainstream, by the way, Laser is up 2-0 against Hellraiser, which means round of 16 matches will be on the verge of starting shortly. Whereas he currently has a Robo in the main base of the Laser with 3 Immortals out. Actually, maybe Hellraiser's got this game, actually. I don't think Laser actually has enough to properly hold this off. So I know we're watching Neeb Cham. Yeah, how is this going to get the game? Sorry, I was just interested to see how that third game ended up. So Neeb, bottom right, Cham top left. So yeah, one of the fastest series we've casted today. I do wonder what series we'll be casting when it comes to round of 16s, because I guess the mainstream will be picking a bunch of games. So I guess mainstream probably goes Hero Marine sort of, so we get TLO Laser, or TLO Hellraiser. Then I wonder what mainstream picks between Mana Special and Rain or Nurture. Actually is a very interesting choice. A lot of cool options here today, basically, guys. Round of 16 is going to be really, really awesome. So cool to see some of the players in that round of 16 as well. Time back in the round of 16. Mana having a good run as well. You know what's also really cool? This Ling Flood coming in from Cham as he is coming across the map. Ling Speed is building. He's not building drones. And he is just going to go and well, try and end this game in the next few moments. So here we go. Neeb's trying to wall off this low ground like all the way across here. This is something we've seen done a lot lately. Oh, he's going to get the hatch block. So the hatch block means now you can't finish the wall off as Neeb. Or can you? Oh my god, is that hatchery not blocked correctly? Oh my god! Oh no! Cham was expecting the wall to come here and here, but obviously it's just not quite the case. It's still going to stop the wall off coming in behind this though. Neeb doesn't get a cancel on that gateway, so Ling Speed's going to start up in a moment. Oh my god, the Adept Shade just blocked the gateway. Neeb is kind of desperately trying to set that up. Again, the problem is you need that full wall, because if this full wall doesn't come in, the hatchery will just cancel. Gets the gateway down again. That's actually a big help. Still needs to deal with these Zerglings though. It's a problem. Mortal on the way up from the Rover facility. He is going to start Neeb again. Oh my god, a second wall behind. This is when he cancelled the hatchery, surely. Is that not the whole point of building the hatchery? Is he actually wanting to build units out of this hatchery? Doesn't matter. GG's called, and Cham will find game number 3 against Neeb. Again, trying to... Didn't see them at any point. It's crazy. Alright, to the top left, our red Protoss player. Give it up, guys, if you're cheering on Neeb, who is, of course, up 2-1 in this series going into King's Cove. And on the bottom right-hand side, we have Cham, who was able to Ling Flood his way to a map win in game number 3 there. Again, Neeb just trying to wall off that entire kind of ramp up into the free bases. Has to be a little bit careful about that. A little bit careful about that, so... yeah. Then it's set to go. We'll see a gateway dropping down here from Neeb, getting that rolling. Actually dropping in here from Cham. So getting that ready to roll. And looking to see. Things will get set up. So yeah, getting this underway. We're going to see what's going to happen. There's a couple of drones coming through. Extractor setting up here in the main base. And yeah, Hatch got some cool as our opening. Next is going to drop down here. On the natural expansion there is a Cyber Core building up as well. Getting this ready to party as Overlord heading into the upper left-hand side. Very slow early game. Just waiting to see what Neeb is going to open up with, basically, what tech choice. And we're already kind of at that point where Cham was flooding Ling's last game. Not really expecting that again. That would be... kind of, I mean, it's just got so much smaller chance of working on this map, especially when... I think it's actually a really smart choice on Thunderbird. I mean, Link Flood is always, you know, a build that can happen. It can always work out. On Thunderbird, it was very smart because pros have started to do that thing where they wall kind of the larger ramp rather than walling at the front of the natural. And so that bit of greed is very punishable, and that's what Cham took advantage of. Here, Neeb's going to have a full wall of readily available, and then, you know, then it just becomes so much harder from that point on. And as we do see the Nexus Chrono boosting out workers on this natural here, so Nexus Chrono boosting. Meanwhile, Stargate actually starts up from Neeb as well. And speed Halfway done from Cham. Third hatchery starting up. And again, sort of just sitting back and waiting to see what's next. Def gonna shade on through, going up in towards the main base here. These other lings running in after it. Trying to catch it, not quite finding it though. Neeb will throw down the pylon in the main, so able to get that started as well. Yeah, pylon just drops down here from Neeb, and just a lot of setting up. Not really much to shout about. Phoenix is going to come and find the Overlord, and should then also get the Overlord on the top side. So Cham decided to send 2 Overlords across the map. For a long time, actually Zerg Chan changed to only sending 1 across the map, because Stargate was the go-to build in PvZ. We now kind of see 2 Overlords quite often again, just so you can kind of try and, guarantee the scout. So this is kind of the weakness of 2 Overlords, because that Phoenix is going to get a second Overlord kill already. So really good value from the Stargate here for Neeb. So this Overlord's going to get picked up as we see a second Stargate starting up in the main base. So it's going to be a bit of a different build here from Neeb. A double Stargate Phoenix. So obviously Phoenix Oracle just makes it look the same as before. And now Cham doesn't really have much to scout with to confirm what is or isn't going to happen as a follow-up, right? How is he meant to get into this main base now to see what, to see the Stargates? As long as Neeb keeps the wall shut with these 2 adepts, as long as he, there shouldn't be a way for an Overlord to get across the map unless you enter the Numitas Carapace. That Overlord speed obviously isn't coming up just yet. We've seen the another Overlord going down. This is a bit of a silly one. Cham should have been able to pull that back a lot earlier, but he just wasn't responding to the fact that the Phoenix was just picking up that kill, so that was a bit silly from Cham. That shouldn't really have happened there. As you do see this lair coming up on the 3rd, so Cham getting this lair up and rolling. There's that 3rd Nexus here from Neeb, just dropping up, dropping down. 2 Phoenix building at a time. And those Queens going to push that Phoenix right down to the bottom side of the map. So the Phoenix push down to the bottom. We see the Hydra stand going to start up here from Cham as well. So getting the Hydra stand set up, ready to go. A few more Zerglings on the way out. Hydralisks going to be the choice as well. I mean, obviously kind of needed because of the Phoenix. Did you actually see this? This is the first time the Cham's going to see it. So already going Hydrogen is quite nice for him. Alright, well, Neeb's going to show up. What is there defensively right away here? There's only 2 spores. There's not even 1 spore crawler per base. And the Phoenix is just going to come straight in, get an Overlord kill. This Queen's kind of out on its own in the middle between the bases here. Nice lifts on the other Queens as well, by the way. Those are the Queens with transfusions, so by lifting those up, you stop the transfusions coming down on that Queen that was lifted in the skies. I love this position. Neeb can just sit here because, well, let's face it, the Queens can't actually do as much damage as they might like. Ooh, now he saves that other Phoenix. So it's a very good drop and re-pick up initially from Neeb as well to change Phoenix that was targetable. I think very good damage here from Neeb to start. A lot of Overlords going down. Cham's going to be supply blocked again as he loses 1 more with Neeb coming up this right side. The Queen's killed off too. Again, I kind of like it. Yes, some Phoenix were lost, don't get me wrong. 2 Phoenix down, but 7 Overlords and 2 Queens in this game. Obviously 3 of those Overlords were off the first Phoenix. So 4 Overlords, 2 Queens, make that 5 Overlords now, make that 6. Cham is supply blocked again, and this is obviously becoming a bit of a disaster for him. We haven't even seen the Phoenix lifting up a ton of drones just yet, right? I mean, once they start doing that, we're going to be seeing even more workers, even more damage done. The worker kills count goes up pretty quickly when Phoenix are in play. Maybe a little bit sloppy there, letting this couple of these Phoenix take more damage than they should. This is very sloppy from Cham, letting this Queen just wander over to chase after the Phoenix. Not hold position in it, not keeping it near this Spore Crawler. And that's really costly here. We're going to be now seeing another couple of Overlords getting picked up. Transfusions keeping them alive, but that's obviously a lot of Queen energy that doesn't last forever. Yeah, I still do feel Neeb's actually lost a lot of these Phoenix though. He's going to come back in, just finish this Overlord off, but he lost a lot more Phoenix than I think we usually see. I mean, he also did a lot more damage than what we usually see. But 4 Phoenix loss means, I mean, Phoenix are that kind of unit that kind of, they're just one of the units that really benefits from staying alive longer because they're energy based, right? The longer you have them alive, the more damage they're going to deal, the more drones they'll pick off, and so on and so forth. So, Yeah, kind of feels a shame to lose 4, but again, I mean, the damage he's already done is fantastic, and the transition coming up at home. Double Robo, he's going into charge, +1, the Templar Archives is coming in. He's getting himself set up perfectly to go into the rest of this game now, whereas, I mean, Cham is still chasing around, after these Phoenix, he's still trying to shut these down properly as they come back in to another drone. Double Spore Crawler, nearly gets the kill on the Phoenix. Cham also going to go Spire and a Hive. Man. Hive and a Spire is actually kind of crazy here, so it means he's just going to go straight towards Brutals, I guess. Spire can be kind of a nice response to Phoenix if you get Corruptors up. You can actually push those Phoenix back and then cause spray down base. It can work quite well, but he's really just looking for Brutals here more than anything. Bane speed starting. Do you have Grew Spines? Yes, so the Hydra upgrades are going to be completed, so the Hydras will be fully upgraded. Obviously, there's just no melee upgrades or anything, though, right? No Evo Chamber upgrades for Cham, and that means he's going to be still missing. He's just going to be missing something that's kind of a key part of if he wants to try and play Ling Bane Hydra here. Not having any upgrades at all is going to make Neeb's army that much more powerful. Storm battle complete from Neeb. There's one attack as well, and this might just be the push across the map as, the 12 overlords he killed off earlier, those are so painful to replace, and now we're going to be seeing Neeb is really able to commit down here. Templar coming in behind. They do have the Storm ability. Storm, very good against Ling Bane Hydra, especially against those, against everything. Lings, Banes, Storm obviously kills them pretty quick. Hydras, pretty squishy as well, so Storming on the Hydras can really put you into a good spot. Still have Ling Bane and Hydra. Spreading out down towards the bottom side, some more Zealots from Neeb running through the center of the map. Looks like we will have those Zealots ready to hit this base. And then another few Zealots going to run on through and go after some workers. Observer is going to get picked up as well. Another Storm coming down. Some of the Banes start to wander forwards here. I just have to back away. The Zealots and the main going to start dealing damage. Sees the chance to maybe get the Greater Spire. There is transfusions available though. There's already a lot of the Queen Energy drained from trying to save this. Full Energy Queen here is going to go down to the Zealots as well. Now the main army of Neeb gets the 5th base at the same time. The Zealots in the 4th. We kind of saw this in the first game as well. Cham just kind of fell apart to Neeb's multi-prong, and it's absolutely the same situation once again right now. Corruptors come out, they can chase the Phoenix away. Obviously, they want to kind of move into Broodlords eventually. And a few Broodlords would kind of stop this army for the moment. Perhaps the Zarkon's a little more thin. These couple of Immortals are getting a little bit low. This is one of them in the front. Cham is going to tap GG. He knows that Neeb has done too much, and Neeb will